Hello, fellow panel chewers. Welcome back to Panel Chewing Pick of the Week. It's our weekly show where we discuss all the books we pulled that week, and we end the show with our favorite book. And we are also going to be discussing the Frank Miller Daredevil run, which is what we are reading with all of you, hopefully, 2 issues per week. It is available for free on Libby and Hoopla. We invite you to come along on the reading journey with us. And this week we will be discussing issues 160 and 161. So if you'd like to join us, it's not too late. It's actually a very good time to hop on. We're only 4 issues in as of this week. So that'd be great if you can. As usual, I'm here with Jared. Jared, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Looking forward to more comic talk in general.
Yeah, so we usually have a topic to discuss and just throw around to start the show. And we were scrambling for a topic this week because I was unprepared. Of course, next week, I was thinking we can do our top 5 horror comics or top 5 disturbing comics. But for this week, the news that caught my ears probably the most is that Marvel is ending the Ultimate Universe after 2 years. I believe it's been 2 years. So all the books are ending, and it is coming to a close. I've even seen some people say that they don't believe they're really going to follow through with it. But I have some theories about that. What are your thoughts? I know neither of us read those books, but what are your thoughts on that kind of as in general comic book industry?
My thoughts start with questions. You said it's been around for about 2 years.
I think it's been around longer, but I think the current runs are ending at issue 24 is what I read. So
Okay.
I think the current runs, I think it's been going for longer, but the runs that are going now, I believe it's issue 24. They're going to stop in a few months.
Yeah. Well, the Ultimate books that are current right now,
Right. Yeah.
Are they different from the ones that came out in 2000?
I believe they're connected in some way, and I'm sure someone listening is
Okay.
familiar with Marvel and the Ultimate Universe screaming at us, but I believe they're connected. It's a kind of a universe, but the current, I think like Black Panther, Spider-Man, Wolverine, there's a few others that are running still. I think the most popular one is probably Ultimate Spider-Man, which I did read for a few issues and then I fell off because it just became people talking in it. I lost interest in
it. Yeah. No, I hope. I hope it's true. I hope they do end it. There's just way too many superhero comics, anyways. And and
how many times do you hear that on a comic book podcast?
Sorry about that, folks.
No, it's just you don't read very many of those kind of books, so you know.
Yeah. So the they're gonna do something else eventually. They're not gonna just stop publishing stuff. They're gonna fill that slot with something. Hopefully it'll be something interesting. Hopefully it'll be something different and exciting rather than another alternate universe that they're going to make the same thing out of, with very minimal variations on the Marvel. What do they call it? 616.
Yeah, like the mainline universe.
Main Marvel universe. Yeah. So I hope it's just not another, Marvel 320 or whatever. I hope they actually do something more unique and to fill that, whatever that publishing slot is, whether they have to have a mandate for so many books a month or whatever, or if they or are they just downsizing their comic book output. I'm not sure what the case may be, but hopefully, yeah, but like I said, hopefully they just do something unique and original and not more copycat stuff.
Well, I would imagine with the popularity of the Absolute Universe, a couple of those I am still reading. I would imagine they're going to do something similar and just relaunch it. And my prediction is that they're going to relaunch it and somehow incorporate the other franchises that they own, like Predator, Aliens, maybe even find a way to squeeze Star Wars in there to do because they own these properties and they pump out those books all the time, and most of them that I read have not been good. So I'm going to guess that they're going to relaunch popular franchises and somehow tie them into the movies or kind of maybe make them canon so that they carry more weight instead of just random stories that no one cares about. But
Awesome, Steve. You just told me everything that I did not want to hear.
I know. I know. I'm the bearer of bad news as usual. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see how if they're going to end the Ultimate Universe, and Ultimate Spider-Man, I think, was still selling decent, better than a lot of their other books. If they're going to end it, I would guess that they're going to bring in the creator to fill the role of what Scott Snyder did for DC, and maybe wait a few months and then do a big maybe event that leads into it, like DC did with the tie-in. So I don't know. I just get. I mean, I don't think they're going to end it and not do something else. They're going to do something else. They need something to inject some kind of excitement for their books for people like us who don't really give a shit about the rest of their.
Your language is offensive.
Don't really care about the rest of their universe.
Oh,
I was waiting for a chance to use that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I just, I guess I'm just going to be the old, get off your lawn type of guy, and I'm not the target audience anyway, so I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be delving into any of that stuff if that's what they're doing. But
guess we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah. I would imagine someone like, some very popular Marvel person or someone in the comic book industry, they're going to recruit them to come in and be like the architect or whatever for the whole launch. But we'll see.
Probably
this is peculiar.
Yeah. Probably Jonathan Hickman, if anybody.
Yeah. Probably Hickman, or they could really swing for something and bring in someone like Claremont. I mean,
yeah, is he still doing stuff, Claremont?
I think so. Yeah, I think
really?
I think he's still around. But yeah, we'll see. With Disney involved, I mean,
True.
But with all that good news out of the way, all that positivity, putting it into the first book for this week is one book that I was a little bit hesitant to pick up, but I'm glad I did, which is 30 Days of Night, Falling Sun #1 by IDW. Now, I'm one of those people who I prefer the movie 30 Days of Night over the books. I thought the movie was better than the book. I'm not saying the book is bad. I just think the story in the movie, the dynamic between the two main characters and their marriage falling apart, that created lots of tension. And the townspeople, the way that they kind of crafted the story, I think it was a better overall story. But it's 30 Days of Night is a classic, but still, I think the story's better in the movie. I still hate the ending, but the other comics I tried reading, I just didn't catch my attention enough to really keep going. And this one, we returned to Barrow, Alaska, where it all started, and bringing the story back to this point, back to where it started, you get an idea. What I really liked about it is that they explore how the townspeople and the survivors of the first event were still healing, or still have these support groups for each other. They're still suffering from what happened, and they have family members who were killed. And I really like the way they explored that angle of it. But I also like the way that they brought the vampires in, because we get a sneak peek on the vampire side of it and why they're going back to Barrow. And there was a couple of surprises that I thought were pretty cool. And we even get some rituals that the vampires do, and kind of look behind the scenes of what kind of their practices are and things like that. And the political side, the hierarchy of the different vampires, I thought was pretty neat. So I appreciated that. The art was really good. The artwork's by Chris Sheehan and the story by Rodney Barnes. And this is one that I'll continue reading. I think it was a good start.
Is it the limited series or?
I believe so. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. I have next up is Temporal #1 by Mag Cave Comics, and I think they're the same. I was interested because of the same people who do Vanishing Point, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we like Vanishing Point, and also it's temporal. It's a time travel story, so I'm always a sucker for a time travel story. And so I picked it up, and I don't think I'll be picking the next one up. So, yeah. It I don't know. It had a Disney-fied type style of artwork, which didn't do it for me. Nothing wrong with it per se, but it's not my thing. And and because of that, it also had a kind of light tone. It was kind of flippant in its approach to the subject matter of time travel, and it was just it's like time travel is a set thing. It's controlled. It's not the danger of it that you want that I want when I'm reading a time travel story. There should be some stakes involved. There should be stress and danger involved, and you're messing things up, or there's some danger to where you're going or what have you. And in this, it was just so casual. It didn't appeal to me, and I also thought the dialogue was really mundane and not done very well. So yeah, it not the thing for me. If you're looking for a lighter side time travel story, I mean, there is a family unit involved that they get, that they thought that you're introduced to, and so if you're looking for a lighter side, kind of Disney-fied time travel story, then you might like it, but not for me.
So you're dropping the series then?
Yeah.
All right. Well, one down. All right. Nobody should have given me these buttons and these sound effects, I swear. Bad news. The next one for me is Endeavor, #1 by our friends over at Distillery Comics. So it's a luxury cruise ship. Well, it's a small cruise ship or small ship that is kind of this luxury, supposed to be like this luxury experience with a drunk captain and with more problems than you can shake a stick at, and families that have lots of internal conflicts, and they're just a complete mess, and lots of reasons why, which I won't spoil. So what could go wrong? Turns out a lot can go wrong, as we all would imagine. I liked the lead up to it, kind of introducing the families and introducing the kind of the dynamics of the families with the people on the ship. The captain, who has his own kind of priorities, which isn't sailing, isn't piloting the ship. So no, what I wasn't a huge fan of is where it goes and the focus on the kids, because I'm not a huge fan of kids and stories.
These fucking kids.
So I'm just not really my thing. But if it turns into something, if the focus turns into something more dark, which it may, not like Lord of the Flies, but if it goes off the rails, it's kind of dark, then, we'll see. I'll continue reading it, see where it goes, but not a bad first issue. It just, I think the focus wasn't what I was hoping it would be. But lots happened in the first issue, as Distillery comics do. They're longer, and they tend to cover much more ground than a lot of other comics. So yeah, not a bad start. Just is one I'll be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I really was surprised by what they did.
Yeah,
and like you said, a lot of story. There's a lot of story in the issue.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of bang for your buck. I see people complaining about the cost of Distillery comics, and I understand that, but also when you're paying $6-7 for a Marvel book, I don't know that there's really that much room to complain about it. You're getting more story in the Distillery books, and I also understand Distillery isn't for everyone. It's more of an art house, kind of the A24 of the comic book industry. So it's not for everyone, but I'm a big fan of the publisher.
Indeed. And on to jeez, I seem to be the downer comic book talk today, but my next issue is Return to Planet Hulk. And because I really enjoyed the original Planet Hulk by Greg Pak, and I think it's the same artist, Carlo Pagulayan. And I really like that story. Now, I don't know if that's just nostalgia talking. I haven't read it since, way back when it first came out. I don't know if I went and reread it now, if I would like it as much as I did back then, but it was really cool when it came out. And so I was looking for that. I was looking for that, that nostalgic feel and that return to form of the Hulk that I knew back then. And maybe I got it, and I am changing my tune, but I don't think so. This is more of a this was more just a pastiche of the Hulk going back to the planet of Sakaar and kind of revisiting some of the past, and then getting mad at everybody because they're hero worshiping him, and he doesn't like it. And I thought it was just an excuse to cash in on the Planet Hulk name, and the artwork was great. It's really good artwork. But other than that, there wasn't much to it. So I have to once again be the downer.
We're at the trombone today.
Yeah.
That's too bad. So it's hard when you have a very popular storyline and then you revisit it. You have to make sure that you bring the best quality you can, otherwise you're going to disappoint the fans of the first series. So
yeah, I can't fault the artwork. The artwork was very pretty to look at. So.
Two in a row, Jared.
Yeah. We'll see if we can turn that around.
Yeah. I think we will. Yeah. See what's on the list. I think it's going to turn around. The next one for me is Skin Police 2, Issue 2. It's by Oni Press. So after being disappointed with the first issue of Part 2 of Skin Police, I was pleasantly surprised by Issue 2. It has a more of a political corruption, government corruption focus, which is where this series I think is at its best. And I really like the premise of the duplicates, which is, for those who aren't familiar, this book is based on the universe where the birth rate goes down, it plummets, and they discover a way to create people. And they're called duplicates, I believe. And these people who are created eventually go crazy, and they just go mad and they start killing people, or they explode, their heads explode, or something catastrophically bad goes on with them. So the government starts to round them up and put them in camps and capture them before they can expire, before they go crazy. So lots of different themes you can play with, lots of different ways you can play with this kind of story to make other statements, whatever statement you want to make. But I'm rooting for this book. I hope it turns around. Jordan Thomas is the writer, and I like Daniel Getty. I think I'm probably mispronouncing his name. I enjoyed his work on Uber, and but I hope this book turns around. I really want it to be good. I like the idea. I'm hoping they can pull this out. So we'll see. The next one for me, it was almost my pick of the week, which was very narrowly bounced out of the top pick because I went with the book that made me think longer and give you more to think about. This book is still fantastic, which is Invincible Universe Battle Beast #6. This is, of course, by Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley. And when they're together, they just create fun. They just create great comics. This is the last issue of the arc, and before a hiatus for the book, I think it's off until March of next year. This is another violent, action-packed, funny issue. The art and the colors, of course, they shine. And of course, the dialogue by Kirkman, he does his thing and has its funny moments, and Kirkman is Kirkman. So it all works. I mean, it's just a fun romp. It's a good time. I'm really going to miss it during the hiatus because where they end this issue, those of you familiar with the Invincible Universe will be happy. That's all I'll say. I'm not spoiling anything, but I like the direction it's going. I think it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here.
That's cool. That's really cool. So next, I have Conan the Barbarian, #25. And first thing I want to say about this book is the artwork is done by Alex Hawley, who is normally just a cover artist. But this whole book is fully painted artwork. It's absolutely stunning. And I was, because I've seen Alex Hawley's artwork on plenty of other covers for plenty of Conan stuff and in other books as well. And they must have planned this out so far in advance because to paint all these pages in here, each panel is almost like a cover in and of itself. And it's just gorgeous. The outside has a wraparound fully painted cover. And I was so pleased to see this in my pile. And there's also like some interviews in the back, and it's a 25th issue, I guess, special. Interviews in the back, and there's some back matter about Robert Howard's writing and stuff like that. But really, the star is the artwork, and it's a story about King Conan. So it's the older Conan, looking back on his life and rising up to a challenge from somebody, and somebody comes to the court to challenge him, and so there's a lot of the story was okay as far as that goes. There was a lot of reflecting, looking back on Conan's life and stuff like that, which is typical for a like an anniversary type issue. And it's definitely an issue that is kind of meant for a jumping on point for new readers, where you can just this is it's a single self-contained issue. So if you want to jump on the series, this would be a good place for it. And it kind of explains a little bit of the history of the Serpent God Set as well, who I know is going to be a problem in the coming year. So pretty cool artwork. Like you're not going to find better on the stands today with as far as that goes. Fully painted panels throughout the whole book it was just amazing.
Now, if that's not your pick, then your pick must be good.
Yeah, well, like I said, the strength of the story wasn't there for me personally because I already know all that stuff about Conan.
Hmm.
I could see a new reader would be like, yeah, wow, this is amazing. And it's good to know all that stuff. For somebody who's well seasoned with Conan, story wise, it's nice, but it's not. It's not. I went for my pick. I went with the one that had the greatest story impact to the to the series that's ongoing right now.
Yeah, you said before we started, you said you made the choice, the intellectual choice versus rather than the what the heart
The
wants.
Yeah, rather than what the heart wants. Yeah, it's all
Well,
good though.
yeah,
It's good to have both, right? Yeah.
yeah, you get to have those kind of problems for sure. All right, so the next one for me before we get to our picks of the week is Creeping Below number 4. Now, if you've heard the podcast, you know that I love Del Rey's art. I love the dark, scratchy, gothic, just it, beautiful artwork, and that's why I picked the series out. It reminds me a lot of Jennifer's Body, and almost it's not that Jennifer's Body was all that original to begin with, but there's there's things in this book that are pretty damn close to being, yeah, pretty close to being the same. So uh, this one, there's very little story. It's the story is very thin. The characters are very thin. I don't care about them at all. And when they have a chance, one of them has a chance to say something or to do something. He says the dumbest thing you can imagine, and then you start rooting for him to be to for your for the what should be the innocent people. You root for them to fail because they're so annoying. It's like watching the film Cloverfield. You root for the monster because the people are so annoying. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, the story, there's not much going on here. I think there's one more issue to go. And I sad to report I am out on Creeping Below. I don't care. And I'm not going to pick up the last issue to find out what happens because I know I'll be disappointed. So I'm out. I tried. I love the artwork, but it just wasn't enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what a way to get into the
Yeah.
picks of the right.
Yep.
Ooh.
Go from bad to good very quickly here.
Yeah. So on to the good. We got Cul-de-Sac number 3 by Mike Carey and Jonathan Waychek. And I continue to be impressed with this book. Uh, like you, Steve, most of the time I'm not into stories where the kids are the main focus,
Hmm.
but this one's a little different. And um, this is appropriately enough, this is a horror book, it has vampires in it, but it's it's just it's just different in its execution. The artwork is so unique compared to anything else out there, and it's horror and humor at the same time almost. And it's just the way that things look. But make no mistake, this is a horror book, and the stakes are high. And where this story is going, I have no idea, because Carrie is keeping me guessing on where it's going. And I like that. I like that a lot. He's doing something right because he's not giving away with where this is going and what's going to happen to these characters just because they're kids. I don't think they have plot armor, and that's the horror of the book is you just don't know. You really don't know what's going to happen with them. And I like the unique mythology around the vampires in this book. And also, this is a book from Bad Idea Comics, so it also has a bonus short story in here,
Hmm.
completely unrelated. It's just a separate little thing, and it's a separate little interesting short story by David Lapham, one of our favorite creators,
Mm-hmm.
and just a little 6-page thing, and it's neat, it's funny, and um, and it was about a comic book auction gone bad, so it was appropriate.
Yeah.
um, so so you get some bang for your buck here with this comic. The the price tag is $6, but it's but I find I get a lot more out of it than a $6 Marvel book. So, uh, Cul-de-Sac number 3. If it's not too late to get on this series, because it's good things are happening. I'm liking it.
Shots fired at Marvel today.
I know.
I know.
We're bad people.
It is horrible. I really want to like those books. I really want to be into them. I'm just not. But yeah, a cul-de-sac. I don't remember why I didn't pick that up. But with only 3 issues in, I'll have to see if I can catch up with the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I'm loving the fact that they put the short stories in. This totally just bonus stuff, and I don't know if they're gonna reissue those when the trade comes out or not. I don't know how they're gonna do that. So I don't know if they're gonna keep that as single issue, as a bonus for single issue buyers, or what have you. So you could be missing out if you're just waiting for the trade on this series.
That is actually a great way to encourage people to buy the single issues to add things like that. So yeah,
especially when you have David Lapham doing them in a couple cases, but there were some other ones too.
Yeesh. All right, I'll have to get it. You had me at Lapham. Okay. Okay, so the pick of the week for me was a last minute choice. I had Battle Beast in this slot, and I changed it because it kept me thinking. And it's a book that I had to go back and reread portions of it to understand what the ending meant. Mm-hmm. So Terabytes is by Mad Cave, and it's by Mark Russell and on story, and Felix Ruiz on art. And I believe it's going to be something similar to Vanishing Point, with each issue is a different story.
Oh.
And so what this book revolves around is there's a major tech company. They're trying to sell this new device and technology that allows you to relive memories. Think something like Strange Days, where you can relive memories, except you can relive them even after you die. So you can keep reliving memories in your head. And there's this technology, as most things the tech industry creates, isn't quite done yet. It's not working quite well. They're still trying to sell it to people as if it's finished, working as designed. So it revolves around that, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to ruin the story for anyone. But the ending caught me by surprise, and I read it the first time, and I thought, what did I miss? Because this doesn't make sense. So I went back and reread it, and then I understood it, and it was one of those moments. I thought it was pretty clever. I think the story, like I said, it's kept me thinking. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And it's not like life-changing or anything, but it was a clever story that the end has a twist, and I think it was well executed. So Terabytes #1 by Mad Cave, good first issue. So hopefully it's to the standard of something like Vanishing Point, because that'd be great to have more comics like that every week. And yeah, so yeah, a good start. And I'm another book that I'm rooting for to keep the quality and keep pumping out great science fiction stories.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Picks of the week.
Yeah, good stuff. So after we talk about Marvel the whole episode, to prove we aren't, anti-Marvel, we are reading the Frank Miller Daredevil run. We like good comics that involve Marvel, that make good stuff. We just finished the X-Men run that we spent months on. And now we're getting into the Frank Miller run on Daredevil. This is volume 1. This is available on Hoopla and Libby. You can sign up for those services for free with a library card, and you can digitally rent the book and read along with us. We read 2 issues per week. And this week we are reading issues 160 and 161.
Yes, back in the good old days, under the guidance of editor-in-chief Jim Shooter, we had Claremont's X-Men and we had Miller's Daredevil. So the guy seemed to know what he was doing.
Yeah, a lot of the all-time classic runs are in this time period. I mean,
yeah. We dive into Daredevil number 160. We got Bullseye, main baddie, and he's being a pain for Daredevil. He's trying to prove something, right? He's trying to prove that he's better than Daredevil. You get the little hints that they had clashes in the past in Daredevil 1, but now Bullseye's got a new plan, and he takes out the Black Widow, and I was like, wow, I'm not so sure that would happen today.
No,
with the Black Widow's character being so much more in the public eye than she was back then.
It would not have been that easy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Just because, we've been kind of hardwired to know that Black Widow is a super badass, and I don't think that was set in stone back then. And
she was very much the damsel in distress, which I was surprised. Yeah.
And so then we have Matt Murdock, Daredevil, kind of being mopey, needs somebody to talk to. He's looking around, and then of course he's searching for Black Widow, and he goes to the seedy places looking for Bullseye and stuff, or trying to find out where he is and stuff like that. And of course that just reminded me that he's beaten some guys up, and that was all very Batman-like, That was
very detective.
And just the way he approaches the battles with these thugs, where he's feeling them out. He knows what they're gonna do. He's outclasses them in the martial arts and stuff, and the same way that Batman does. And so that you had that, and then so then you move into the next issue, 161, and I got to admit, I was taken. I was fooled by the whole girl tied to the railroad tracks thing.
Yeah.
It actually fooled me. I did not. I at first I was like, no, come on, he's not doing his cliche stuff, and I was actually disappointed that that's the case. Really, Black Widow is tied to railroad tracks, like in a cartoon or something, But
yeah, twirling his mustache before the train comes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But of course, it turned out not to be the case. And I was like, okay, you got me. You got me.
Yeah, you got me too. I thought for sure. I don't remember her dying at some point.
Yeah, and it was just a dummy, and so that was fine. And she ended up being the damsel a little bit, but she did eventually get out of her own predicament there. With the distraction of Bullseye coming in and causing the trouble he did. I kind of don't know what to make of the ending of the issue.
Yeah.
With Bullseye just caves. He just caves. And I'm kind of like, really? That's your ending? He just breaks down, and it's like, I can't beat him.
Well, I feel like they tried to set this up. I think it might have been issue 160, maybe 161, where he kind of gets the history of Bullseye, how he's in the hospital and he takes a nurse hostage, and he does all these awful things and he's not exactly stable. And then, but I had to go back a few pages when I read this because I thought, what happened? Like it was very abrupt. It was one page they're fighting and the next page it's over and he's crying and saying he's done. And I just thought, what happened?
Yeah, it was a bit abrupt. I agree. And I'm wondering if some of this storyline is still a little bit lingering from before when we started this run.
Yeah.
It seems that way. I'm still waiting for that fresh, creative spark that's going to launch something significant that made this one of the top runs that's supposed to be. So I think we're still they're still feeling things out, and we're still kind of waiting for that spark to happen.
Yeah, I don't know who the gunmen were. The people that showed up at the end of 161. I don't know who they were. They had some kind of significance because they know and knew each other, but I had no idea who that was. I think the issue 161 I felt had more polish to it. I felt like the artwork was kind of rounding out. It had more of a flow to it. It felt like they were starting to pick up steam. The moment that really stuck with me through these two issues was 160, where with the funeral and Heather, whoever that is, I'm not sure who that is, but Heather's asking Matt to kind of be there for her and kind of choose her, and he tells her no because I felt like it was a very subtle way of saying these are the sacrifices he makes to be Daredevil, to do what he does, to sacrifice people close to him and people he cares about because he's doing other things. He's trying to be a superhero. So I thought that was a nice little touch, but it was only a few pages. The bullseye stuff, they did catch me too with the railroad thing or with the roller coaster. But overall at the end was a little bit of a bummer because I felt like it was building towards something very, this big climax, and it just kind of a thud.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Are they just trying to wrap stuff up and trying to move on to something? That's I'm kind of guessing that to see where this goes. And I think you're right. Like Frank Miller was a very young man when he first started on this, and so I think you're right that the artwork is going to get better as it moves on, and as he gets more polished, as he gets more into the character and stuff like that. I think that's definitely gonna happen, and we'll see him grow as an artist as this run goes on.
And I think you mentioned, it might have been before we started recording, about us being on an X-Men hangover. Because when you go from Claremont and John Byrne, it's a high bar. So
yeah,
I
mean, even Byrne improved as the X-Men run went on. I mean, he was more polished to start with, but we went from saying, "Wow, he's really good," to "Wow, he's like the best ever."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, beautiful artwork.
Yeah,
gorgeous. So cool. Yeah. So next week we'll tackle 162 and 163. It looks like we're getting a visit from the Hulk, which I understand why they're bringing in these other characters from the Marvel Universe, but I'm not always the biggest fan, because when you have Daredevil, someone who's supposed to be in a city, and you have this big huge green monster come in, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be a good
we'll see.
a good run, but we'll see how it goes. And again, you read this. You can read this for free with us. Sign up for Libby or Hoopla, and check out Volume 1 of Frank Miller's Daredevil, and read along with us. Cool. Another decent week of comic book reading. We had a couple of trombones, but not too many.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take these really nice books. I like them.
Yeah. And Conan's not the pick. I was like, who are you? What did you do with Jared? What's going on here? So, well, cool. I just want to say thanks for everyone who listens to the show. Thanks to Free Latveria. I'm mispronouncing the name, but thanks for always commenting on YouTube. Really appreciate the interaction. And so we know it's nice knowing someone out there is listening. Sometimes it feels like you're talking into the void. So I appreciate the engagement. So until next time, Jared, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Fancy Thinker YouTube channel, and you can find me on Page Chewing and on Film Chewing, the Oscar Project.
Yeah. And all those links are down below. And of course, you can find me on pagechewing.com with all the blog posts. And of course, we have our forum, a small little community there of just a group of friends who like to talk about books and movies and technology and all sorts of other nonsense. So come by and say hello. That does it for us this week. Until next time, we will talk to you very soon, and we hope you find your pick of the week.
Bye-bye.